Have you ever been so deeply lost in something that time vanished, your worries disappeared, and everything felt just right? That magical state where your full attention is locked onto what you are doing, and it feels almost effortless. That is the sweet spot Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi calls flow, and once you understand it, you will never look at work or even life the same way again. Flow, the psychology of optimal experience, is not just another self-help book. It is the result of years of scientific research into what truly makes people happy. Not momentarily excited or temporarily entertained, but deeply and lastingly fulfilled. Mihaly, a Hungarian-American psychologist, dedicated decades to studying what he called the optimal state of consciousness. And in this book, he lays it all out in an engaging, thoughtful, yet easy-to-follow manner. It is no wonder this book has a 4.6-star average on Goodreads and 4.5 on Amazon, with readers calling it life-changing, transformative, and a book that redefines productivity and joy. Mihaly's idea is simple but profound. Happiness does not come from money or fame or relaxation. It comes from engaging fully in what you are doing. When a painter loses themselves in a canvas, a coder forgets to eat because they are building something exciting, or a climber tunes in so completely to every movement that the world fades away, that is flow. It is not just for artists and athletes either. It can happen while gardening, having a deep conversation, or solving a tricky spreadsheet. It is about being so immersed that you stop thinking about yourself, and time either speeds up or slows down. One quote that stands out in the book is this one: "The best moments in our lives are not the passive, receptive, relaxing times." The best moments usually occur if a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. That flips so much of what we are told. Most people think happiness is comfort, but Mihaly argues it is about challenge and mastery. It is about effort, but the right kind of effort. What is surprising is that flow is not some mysterious, uncontrollable feeling. Mihaly breaks it down like a recipe. You need a clear goal. You need immediate feedback. And you need to be doing something just hard enough to stretch your skills, but not so hard that it overwhelms you. If something is too easy, you get bored. If it is too hard, you get anxious. But right in the middle is where flow lives. It is like tuning a guitar string. Tighten it too much and it snaps. Leave it too loose and it makes no sound. But get it just right and it sings. He shares fascinating examples too. Rock climbers talk about how the world narrows to a single ledge. Musicians forget their surroundings as they play. Chess players do not hear the crowd. Even surgeons, during intense operations, describe a calm clarity. It is not always dramatic either. A mother playing with her child, a chef perfecting a dish, a welder shaping steel, they can all experience flow. It is democratic. Anyone can access it. One reviewer on Amazon wrote, "This book helped me finally understand why I hated my job but loved working on my car in the garage. I wasn't lazy, I just needed flow." That comment captures the book's biggest gift. It helps you see yourself clearly. Maybe you are not burned out or bored, you are just out of flow. Once you know that, you can start steering your life toward more of those sweet, immersive moments. Csikszentmihalyi does not shy away from science either. He backs his points with research, interviews, and cross-cultural studies. He studied athletes, artists, monks, chief executive officers, and factory workers. He even worked with inmates and teenagers. Across the board, the happiest people weren't necessarily the richest or the most famous. They were the ones who regularly entered flow. Now, one thing readers should know is that this book is not exactly light entertainment. While it is written clearly, it dives deep. Some sections are academic. A few readers on Goodreads commented that parts felt repetitive or too analytical. But even they admitted the insights were worth the effort. One reviewer said, "Some chapters took time to digest, but when I did, I felt like I had been handed the manual for a meaningful life." That is fair praise. There is also an interesting take on modern life. Mihaly argues that with so many distractions, phones, notifications, endless scrolling, we are actually drifting away from flow. Instead of creating or engaging, we consume. And passive consumption rarely leads to joy. He challenges us to shape our lives intentionally, to choose activities that stretch us, to organize our minds so we do not constantly jump from one shiny thing to another. An anecdote that sticks with many readers is about a man who worked a tough factory job for decades. The job itself wasn't glamorous or creative, but the man found a way to turn it into a flow activity. He set mini goals, improved his technique, and treated his work like a craft. At the end of each day, he felt proud, not drained. That story really drives home the point. You do not need to change your life. You need to change how you live it. One powerful line from the book reads, "Control of consciousness determines the quality of life." That means it is not what is happening to you, but how you process and engage with it. It is about attention. If you control your attention, you can shape your experience. And if you shape your experience, you shape your life. In a world where so many people feel lost or stuck, that is an empowering message. The book also touches on spirituality without being religious. Mihaly explores how flow can bring a sense of transcendence. When you are in deep flow, your ego fades, your mind quiets, and you feel part of something bigger. That is why monks, athletes, and even coders describe similar states. It is a kind of meditation in motion. One interesting note from an online reviewer said, "This book made me rethink fun. I used to think fun meant chilling out. Now I see that real fun is being totally into something, even if it is hard." That idea reshapes how we think about leisure. Instead of zoning out, flow invites us to zone in, to go deep, and that is where fulfillment hides. Even the writing style reflects flow. The book gently builds ideas, introduces patterns, and keeps a steady rhythm. It does not rush or jump around. It mirrors the very thing it describes. It is not flashy or sensational. It is calm, clear, and quietly powerful. If you are someone who feels like life is rushing past you, or that you are always doing things but rarely feeling anything, this book is a wake-up call. If you have ever said, "I just want to feel excited about something again," then flow is for you. It will not promise quick fixes, but it offers something more lasting, tools to build a life that is rich in meaning and joy. And maybe that is the best thing about flow. It does not tell you what to do. It gives you a lens to look at your own life and figure out what pulls you in. For some, it is music. For others, it is building things, solving problems, helping people, telling stories. The path is yours to choose. But the state you are aiming for, that deep, sweet spot of total focus and effortless effort, that is universal. So the next time you are completely absorbed in something, and time flies, and your mind is calm, smile. You are in flow. And according to Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, that is when you are truly alive. I hope you enjoyed this book review. This is In Tellings, where we regularly feature news, reviews, and interviews related to non-fiction creative works. Subscribe to receive notifications of our future publications.